We have a great show for you today. I'm Vickie Morgan, and we've got a brand new tune from Mulberry Creek, and we sat down with Alan Doyle, who was currently touring. Whoop, he's not touring. Well, he kind of is, really, when you think about it, because he's in Telltale Harbour right now in PEI, and then they're coming to Newfoundland, so if that's not a tour, I don't know what to call it. So we got to spend some time with Alan, and first, we've got a brand new tune from Mulberry Creek, and it's called Loser Anthem. And it's for all those folks that, get knocked down again and again, and they just keep getting back up. And really, really proud of this because it was produced by Corey Tetford, and I actually got to sing with Mr. Tetford. So this is Loser Anthem.
This is one for all of those that told me no, for all of those fools that said I shouldn't say so, telling me to slow down when I just wanna go. Whoa, 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 whoa. If you don't get a tingle up the back of your spine, no regret in the morning, did you even have a time? You all want a story, well I'm still writing mine. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm getting older, but I don't have to age. Tell my mother I'm still going through a phase, earning every wrinkle upon this happy face. Whoa, 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 whoa. While it's still beating, listen to your heart, 'cause each fall down's another chance to start. Sneaking backstage just to get an autograph. Maybe if you start a band, you get the last laugh. Hard to hold a candle when you're running in the rain. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is one for all of those that told me no, for all those fools that said I shouldn't say so, telling me to slow down when I just wanna go.
So that was Loser Anthem, and thanks again to Corey Tetford for producing that tune. Corey actually produced the very first tune that I released called Garden Party, and himself, and Kendall Carson were on there, and Chris LeDrew on Garden Party, which was also out-of-body experience to have those guys on anything that I write. And speaking of out-of-body experiences, once upon a time, I got to sing with Alan Doyle, and he started my music career. So I owe him a debt of gratitude. And, the gift that just keeps on giving. We got to sit down with Alan and talk to him about the Telltale Harbour musical comedy that he's doing on Prince Edward Island and all the new albums and all the stuff that he's been up to. And so this is the uncut, unedited, full interview that we got to do. So I'm joined on the show today by everybody's best friend, but mostly my best friend, Alan Doyle.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you very much. Great to be here.
You're a very, very busy man. You have a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm lucky. This summer. I got fun things to be busy with, like doing the shows and it works out kind of good because I'm in Charlottetown for the most of the summer, and I just have a little condo just down the street from the Confederation Center of the Arts, and it's almost like, in a weird way, kind of 9 to 5-y, like where I come over here in the morning and I do press, and then we do rehearsals in the afternoon, and then we do shows in the nighttime, and it's like it's kind of a cool routine that I don't normally get to do, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm really enjoying it.
So your family is actually with you. So it's not like a tour where you're off and, checking in,
Yeah,
emails and phone calls. Like, you actually have your family with you. So we did 9 to
and
5
I'm
thing.
sleeping. Yeah, I'm sleeping in the same place every night, which is wacky for me. Like, I've been here, with the exception of a couple of like gigs I had to run up to, once to Nova Scotia and once to Alberta. I've slept in the same bed for 6 or 7 weeks in a row now, and will until the end of September, which is, that's a crazy thing, especially in the summer where we're, chasing festivals all over the place, and we're still doing a bit of that. But and all this to say, it's been great fun so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
So this has been going about 4 years in the making, right? This is not like
Yeah.
this has been a long time. And of course, did COVID delay anything, or was it just you were just working through that anyway?
COVID actually sped it up. COVID, I don't think anything in my life benefited from COVID except the development of Telltale Harbour, because, myself and Adam, who runs is the creative director here at the Confed Center, Bob Foster, who was doing music direction for Come From Away, and a couple other things at Mirvish in Toronto, Gillian Kiley, all the creative team. Ed Rich had a movie going everything got canceled. And so all the creative team became available in a way that would have been unheard of if it hadn't been for the pandemic. So the pandemic actually helped us get this ready in time.
That's so. I don't hear a lot of stories of people having things go better. We had the same. We got work because there was a lot of other companies that couldn't produce because they needed to be out in public and stuff. So we were booming. We didn't want to tell anybody that because everybody was suffering and all that stuff. But yeah, it actually was good for a lot of places. I do want to, but over the last 4 years, you haven't exactly. This isn't the only thing you've been working on. I do want to talk about the 3 albums that you appear on.
Sure.
So Back to the Harbour was the last one and Live Tonight is another one. It's like that's in the past year, right? They've come out in the past 12 months.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember now. There was one other one.
Oh, the cast recording, of course. And
the
Songs from Home. Is it Songs?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually 4, but in the past year, you've had, and then the cast recording for Telltale Harbour, of course, is also available.
So the live record was something that myself and Corey Tedford been toiling on for a while. We recorded multi-tracked a number of shows over the last 2 years, 3 years, everything is 3 years, of course. Just the year before the pandemic, if you will. And we recorded a bunch of live appearances and then Corey edited and mixed and mastered a collection of songs just to give people an indication of what, the Alan Doyle and Beautiful, Beautiful Band at Night looks like and sounds like. And then the record we did at Joel's was super fun, called Back to the Harbour. And that was really just a function of being available over a week-long period in Halifax. We were right in the middle of the pandemic. We were doing some like small capacity shows as a trio, me and Corey and Kendall, and we did like the trail side over here in Prince Edward Island, and we did a couple of things in Nova Scotia and a couple of things in New Brunswick, I believe. And we just happened to have like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off in Halifax. And Joel Plaskett has this beautiful studio over in Dartmouth. So we just sort of went over there and we rented it for a few days, and Joel was around, and we just sat around his old piano and sang a few songs that I like singing. And we didn't think much about it and didn't plan much for it. And what resulted was this beautiful record that's just songs we like singing when we're not thinking about what we're supposed to be singing. And that was Back to the Harbour. And then spent the rest of the year really just hammering away, trying to do a cast recording for a musical that's not finished yet, where the cast, now that's where the pandemic really tripped us up, because we had since January of this year, we had 5 or 6 different opportunities where the cast and the band would be together that week, but every time it got lined up, COVID hit. And so we ended up having to do the cast recording kind of in a way that we didn't plan. So the singers hardly ever sang together. They were in different parts of the world. The musicians were all over the world. And we just, myself and Bob Foster and Corey Tedford just assembled it in a Dropbox, basically in a feat of time code obeyance like I'm unaccustomed to.
So I know for the Back to the Harbour one especially, it was you guys are pretty good at spur of the moment, obviously, because you didn't even know if you were going to be able to do those show dates.
Yeah.
Let alone get together with recording gear and make a whole album out of it. So that's I guess that's part of being really good at what you guys are doing. Do it on the fly.
I think, yeah, thank you for saying that, but it's also like a function of just having this, collection of music that lives in the back of your mind that you sing whenever someone passes you a guitar at 1 o'clock in the morning, and some of those songs are just ones I always wanted to record, and some of them are, traditional songs, and some of the ones I might have written or whatever, and one of my favorite Ron Hines songs or whatever, and just, it was like, I guess you just make up this little short list in the back of your mind of songs you'd love to record if nothing mattered, if it didn't, there was no deadline, there was no, it's not like, there was some, festivals that were lined up behind it that the record had to come out for, or a single that was going to country radio or anything like that. It was just fun, and so we just very casual, and it didn't matter if we had 4 of them or 8 of them or 6 of them or 10 of them, nothing mattered. It was just like, go enjoy yourself, sing some songs, and that's what we did.
It came across on the album too that you guys were just so happy to be together. It was like, like it really was like a 1 o'clock in the morning, like just happy to have a guitar in your hand and be around your friends. It was a beautiful, beautiful sound, really, as it always is. But it was especially nice to hear an album when we weren't allowed to see each other. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. It was like a really nice celebration. So that was beautiful. And of course, your website, I got to tell you, your team is always up to date. The tour dates are always on there. The album, like all the merch is always available. Everything is out, like your team is amazing.
Incredible. Yeah. I'm very lucky. Yeah. To have, that's mostly most of that is quarterbacked by my manager, Louis, over at Sonic Entertainment. And they do everything for me and for all the artists, really, from, bookings to, merch management to everything. It's an incredible, I'm lucky to have them, trust me.
They're on top of it, for sure.
Yeah,
so all those albums are available on the website. And of course, you have a bunch of shows in between the musical, which we're going to get to. But you also have weekend shows where you're zipping out and doing shows on the weekends for a lot of the summer and back again to Charlottetown. So you have, I know you're in St. John, and there's a whole bunch across Canada. So check out the website.
Yeah, there's a St. John, New Brunswick is hosting the Memorial Cup this year. So they do like sort of pre-hockey game tailgate parties, which is a wicked laugh. And I'm doing a big outdoor show in Halifax, and I'm doing the George Street Festival in St. John's. And then there's, I think, one of the festivals in Alberta in Red Deer, I think. And then a few other bits and pieces here and there. And all sort of wrapped around the weekends off that I have here in Charlottetown, because the way they do it in rotation here is in rep, as they say in the theater world. I'm just learning. Is we do there's 8 main stage shows a week here in Charlottetown. 4 of them are Telltale Harbour, but of course the other 4 are Anne of Green Gables, which is incredible looking this year. And so basically every other weekend I have off, and so I'm doing the odd festival and the odd gig here, there, and everywhere, and it's great fun.
Every other weekend you're off. That's hilarious. It's like, what? And Alberta is kind of a shock. I didn't realize you were going that far out.
Just once. And I tried to keep it mostly to the eastern half of the country for the summer, but there was one gig I had booked a long time ago, to be honest. I'm looking forward to doing it. Just got a blast. It's going to be a bit of flying that weekend, but that's all you can do.
What's it like interacting with the audience for you now, knowing that everything is completely scripted and you've got a place to be and moves and steps to take?
It is terrifying, and it is, and I don't mind saying it. It's completely new for me, and you're right to ask, and you're right to wonder how someone who comes from my background, which has been primarily in concert performance, where you walk out and part of your job, a big part of your job, is to read what the room wants in a concert and look at your set list and see if you can deliver it. And if you can't, then you alter and you shift and you move and you you talk more or less, or you sing more beer drinking songs or less, or you play more ballads or less, or whatever. It's a moving, living thing, right? That night. And of course, in a scripted stage play, especially a musical that's timed to the quarter note, you don't have that. And you have to, you have to live in the world that you and the director and the other actors are creating. And, the audience becomes another character in the play that you include in the discussion, but you're not there to perform for them in the same way that you are in a concert. You're there to include them in this story that you're telling. And so it's a very, very different beast. And confess I'm just learning it. But I'm glad, as you say, that I too was worried about the differences between the two. And I had some real good discussions early with our director, Jill, and some of the other actors who gave me some really sage advice early on about how to differentiate between the two kinds of performance. And I got a lot to learn about it, I'll tell you that. But it is very, very, very different, even though they take place in the exact same room.
I should have prefaced it that you are so good at reading the room, and if there's a lull, and there rarely is, but you are so good at reading the room and jumping on it and fixing it and getting on it and entertaining everybody. And even if it's like the tuning stories, it's like you're on it and you're so good at that. I just feel like in your shoes, I'd be terrified of.
Yeah, well, I've said for the longest while about, when you're the front guy in a band, right? That's your job. That is exactly your job. And if you want to have a career doing a variety of different kinds of live music performances, someone on stage better take care of that, or if not, then you have a music recital, and that's not what we do, and that's not what I do. And that's so, yeah, it's literally, and I don't mean to oversimplify it, but I've said it so often to people. It's like, yeah, that is your job. That is exactly your job, is to figure out what this room wants done and to do it for them. And so that everyone leaves feeling like they had the greatest night of their life. And then this is a completely different beast. It's almost like we do all the work to prepare this story and this, performance, if you will. And you have to trust that it's the right one. And you have to trust that it's the thing that will move people in different ways every night. But you can't have 15 people on stage all telling their own version of that story. We have to be one person. We have to be one gang. We have to be, and so it's a real skill set, and that I'm learning. I hope.
So obviously when you start doing a brand new thing, which you've done a lot of, like producing for other people or writing books or whatever, when people find out you're good at something, people start asking you to do it again. So I'm going to take the opportunity here to ask, are you having enough fun that if somebody asks you to do another musical, whether it be write or perform in it, are you having enough fun that you'd even consider doing something similar?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd consider anything, anytime, and to be honest, I mean, but I have a lot to learn about how to do this, right? And I'm keenly aware of how much I have to learn, and I'm keenly aware of what my skill set could bring to it, but also I'm keenly aware of what my skill set doesn't bring to it yet. And I think it would take a long time to be just a ready musical theater gun, and so I don't know. I mean, I love the fact that, my life's kind of an open book, where I don't know, like a plan 15 or 16 months ahead with touring and that, but then I don't know, like if someone says, do you want to go do 3 days on a movie or something? All right, so I'm happy to go try it. I'm like, I might be good at it. I might not, but yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be very surprised when, this Telltale Harbour run is underway. If, somebody from, Toronto or something was phoning me to be a buddy and Fiddler on the Roof or something, that would be a big surprise to me, trust me. But, who knows?
So you have learned at each juncture, like you have learned new things, like especially for film and TV and stage roles and stuff like that. Like I know for Robin Hood, you had to learn how to ride a horse, right?
Yeah.
I know I heard for Republic of Doyle, you spent some time in jail. And then for Hudson and Rex, you actually opened up a dog. I'm just kidding. But did you have to learn? Did you have to learn anything new for this one?
8 bars of dancing. It's if you're a band from Petty Harbour and the Doyle family, the men haven't danced in our family in about 7 generations. We've been the band, we played at our own weddings. That's just what we do. But I do indeed dance for 8 bars in this show, and as I've been telling my musician friends, it's either going to be amazing and you got to come see the show, or it's going to be completely humiliating and you got to come see the show.
Wow. So you took dance lessons?
I did. Yeah, Jill Dreddy in St. John's for 10 weeks last year. And there's a wonderful choreographer here named Linda Garno, and she's been applying all kinds of Jill's tricks and to get me to to move less like a guy who's been in a band for 40 years.
So when I saw that the show had opened, speaking of being able to see the show and come see the whole, see what you're actually up to on stage and stuff, I applied for literally every job they had available, like stage manager, usher. It's apparent I don't have a role in the show. I think they made a good decision there. Didn't even get a look in, but that's fine. There's always time, right? I'm not even there yet, but I was thrilled to see that the show was coming to Newfoundland. Yeah. Like, it's just absolutely amazing. It's one of those out of body. Like are you seriously bringing it to Newfoundland? Like who does that? It's Come Home Year, and you're one of the ambassadors, of course, for Newfoundland every year. But you're one of the ambassadors for Come Home Year, and it was like, wait, he's going to be gone for the summer. Like, what are we supposed to do all summer? And then it was like, oh no, it's fine. He's coming here in October. You're coming to here with Telltale Harbour, like a traveling, almost like a Broadway show. You're taking it on the road. What's that about?
Yeah, well, it's again, it was really an initiative from the provincial government, who were, planning a years-long Come Home Year in Newfoundland and Labrador, and part of it that they're supporting concerts and they're supporting, live theater, and they're doing all kinds of arts installations and that kind of thing. And Telltale Harbour was just one of the things that they wanted to put on for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador over the course of the year, and it just worked out great. I think that the deal was really between the Confederation Centre for the Arts here and the provincial government of Newfoundland and Labrador and the Arts Culture Centres, and they did a deal where the cast and this production doesn't really wrap up here. We finish here, I think, on September 24th or something, and we fly to Labrador the next day, and then we do a little concert version up there, and then all our sets, everything from the show gets loaded into a truck and put on the ferry, and it the whole revolve and the costumes and everything, the band, everything rolls across Newfoundland in October.
So just a few months ago, we had James Taylor here in town. I believe he had 8 or 9 semis out front of Mile 1 Stadium. So that's a whole skill set too, right? Like taking a show on the road and packing it in and unloading it is not something that I would imagine the crew at the Charlottetown Festival is used to doing, right?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm quite impressed with that. They do that more than I would have thought. They roll shows out of here, not all the time, but they have done a few in the last say 5-6 years that they put on the road. And my team, as you say, I don't hardly know anything about about musical theater, but I know how to we know how to put stuff in a truck and get it in and out of a place every night. So we've been helping with a lot of that stuff. But I confess that been nothing but impressed with their plans, because when it came to the discussion of bringing Telltale Harbour to Newfoundland, my insistence was, I am not bringing half the show to Newfoundland. I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing a lesser version of this to Newfoundland. I'm not doing it. And so if we can bring the show that we're putting on here or better to Newfoundland, Labrador, then I'll do it. And if we can't, I'm not. And so we're bringing it, the whole drill.
Arts and Culture Center is like the dream of every kid at the Kiwanis, right? Is the Arts and Culture Center stage is fantastic. I know you've played, I believe the last time you were at the Arts and Culture Center, you were with Obama, or was that, yeah.
Was that? No, he was at the stadium. Well, I don't know when the last time I played Arts and Culture Center would have been.
It was with, oh my God.
Symphony or Shalloway or something, or
something like that.
Maybe
it might have been
choir
a
or
concert or something like
orchestra or something. I don't know.
Sorry, I thought Obama was at I wasn't allowed anywhere near Obama, even though I'm an American. They were, you can't see this on the radio, I'm using air quotes, but they were concerned for his safety. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
For whatever reason.
Yeah,
But
I'm surprised they let me in.
Well, you know, it helps to have, it helps to be doing what you're doing, right? To get close. And again, radio shows, I'm going to give a plug here for NCRA and this Earshot show. Like, people who want to be in radio, it's such a fantastic opportunity to interview people that you want to talk to, or get your own songs on, or whatever it is. Like, radio really, and same with video, if you hold a camera, my God, you can get in just about anywhere. But it's really great to be able to get in places, you know? And your resume has really put you in some pretty awesome places that a guy from Petty Harbour is kind of probably still shocked, right?
It's one of the, I've had more than one, how did I get here, pinch me moment in my life, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah, you know, I just, I know we got to wrap up soon, but I'm excited to get to do this show in Newfoundland at home. And, you know, because it is, you know, it really is in its origin, a product of the people here at the Charlottetown Festival. But of course, the bulk of the team putting it together are all from Newfoundland, you know, myself and Ed Rich, who's the main writer on the show. And then we have our director is Jill Colley, and then our head of lights is a gal named Leanne Vardy, who's from Corner Brook. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of, there's a lot of, it's very much an Atlantic Canadian production. But the heart and soul of it is from Newfoundland, Labrador, and that's beautiful to me.
I have a couple more questions about Telltale Harbour. One of your co-stars is Marquita Walsh.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Do you know she's from Fleur? Like, I'm just going by her Instagram account, but you know she's from Fleur de Lis, right?
I do so, yeah.
Have you arranged any sort of, I know that's one of your dreams is to play a gig out in Fleur de Lis. Have you guys made any kind of an arrangement to do a show out in Fleur de Lis?
We have.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I want to go. We're over on the West Coast in October, and I got to get up to Fleur de Lis, because I was explaining to her that I've always wanted to go to Fleur de Lis just because I love the name and all that stuff, but I've never been there, and I loved it so much I wrote about it in a song.
You know, if you write it down, there's a better chance that it'll come true. So I'm going to go write a song about playing with Alan in Fleur de Lis, or playing on, and maybe like the next time, maybe when they remount Telltale Harbour next year, hopefully, that it just keeps on going. Because that's the beautiful thing about musicals, right?
Yeah.
That once the script is done, it can be remounted over and over, and, you know.
I'm just learning that myself, that, you know, just sort of becoming aware of the value of the book, you know, and the score and the soundtrack, and like that is, you know, that's $2 million and 5 years worth of hard work by at least 10 people to put that collective little arts project together. Like, it's so labor intensive, it's wild.
But then it's a product. It's something that can be, it stays in a, you know, probably printed version, bound copy forever, and someone can pick that up 30 years from, like, your kids, your you know, who knows what's who knows what can be made out of it. So I'm excited. It's really great because you put a lot of time in. It feels like you're almost in a vacuum, but it does, you know, it does stick around for a really long time. I am curious about what, like, and you were there for the very early stages. What is the difference in what's the advantage of doing an adaptation? Because this, of course, is based on The Grand Seduction, which is a fantastic movie. What is the advantage of making an adaptation rather than starting a brand new story? Because I would imagine this show is not beat for beat the same as the book or the same as the movie, right? So what's the advantage of doing an adaptation?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the one to ask, in a way, because I've only ever done this. You know, I've only done this one. I can say that my experience in adapting a screenplay for the stage, as opposed to doing a fully original story, is both advantageous and has its disadvantages at the same time. Because whereas if you're basing it on something that exists that people love, like people love Grand Seduction, then you need to be true to it to a certain degree, and represent the same footprint at least, or characters or whatever. But of course you already have that, so you don't need to invent that, right? But that also comes, so that's a great comfort, but there's also a big limitation in how you present it, right? So it's like, yeah, I confess I don't know. I only know this, and I've never, in all my stuff, like I don't usually write fiction, and I don't work on fiction very much, and so when I'm writing, and so my life's crazy enough, and who needs to make stuff up? And so I think it's a double-edged sword in a way, but also it has this bouquet of delights in it. So it's I would say I'd be surprised to learn that it's radically different one way or the other. They're each one of them doing it totally from scratch versus adapting something that already exists. Both of those roads would have twists and turns and bumps in them, I'd say.
I would imagine it's hard to write within, because it's not really fiction, because you're trying to keep it true to the story, so you're not really able to write the character doing something completely,
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't make him an alien or something, still, whatever.
What was it like? So I know you had, it was kind of a different experience to be writing with a team where what you were writing affected lots of other departments and storylines and all that stuff. So that had to be interesting too.
Yeah, the way I describe it is like doing a musical is like a Rubik's Cube, right? And if you're in charge of the songwriting side, like I was, we'll call it the blue side, every week or something, I'd be all excited and I'd call everyone, go, hey, I got all the blue side lined up. It's great. All the songs are awesome. And then somebody from the staging side or the story side, which is the yellow side or the green side, would call and say, yeah, but you shagged us up, you twisted it, and now we are shagged. So you constantly have to advance the story or the Rubik's Cube in concert with the other departments, right? And everybody has to help everybody else. Or I can't imagine how it would get done. It's just like if you hand delivered 10 songs and say, go ahead and make a musical about that, and it would be a completely different thing, right? Like you really have to, I mean, literally when I get off this call, we've done 2 previews. We're rearranging the finale this afternoon. So we're changing it, not a little bit either, like a big brushstroke that we're performing tomorrow night.
Wow.
The preview.
That's amazing. At this stage in your career and everything, I don't know, can you call it a career when you change around, you do like 15, you're really good at 15 things? I mean, it's not just one musical career in one straight line, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you're trying...
I don't care what we call it, as long as I keep getting the chance to do it all.
Just the thing that is Alan Doyle, like the fact that you're able to work with a team and take feedback like that and create something and have somebody say, no, you got to do it again. Like that's flexible, like the psychological flexibility that goes along with that's pretty amazing. So
it's important. I think it's important, especially in this genre, that if you dig your heels in on something, then you're really tying the hands of the people who are in the other departments, and you really got to. It's the most collaborative thing I've ever done, and everybody has to help everybody else, or it would just never get done. I just don't know how you would ever get it done.
George Street Festival. Before you go, George Street Festival. Back to, I mean, my God, when's the last time you played at George Street Festival?
That's a good question. I did it with my band like 2015, 16, something like that.
But it goes way back. You've been on that stage an awful lot of time.
We did. We actually launched, Great Big Sea launched our record, our Up record, I think, our play record.
I remember that night it was cold and you guys came out in shorts and you said, if you guys are cold, we're going to be cold. And it was amazing. So I cannot wait for the George Street Festival. Alan, thank you so much for your time. This is amazing. Break all the legs, and we cannot wait to see everything that you're doing now and everything you're going to get up to. You're amazing.
Nice to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
Cheers.
Say hey to Charlottetown for me.
I will do.
See ya. So that was Alan Doyle, and I'm little old Vickie Morgan. And you heard it. I said he was my best friend, and he didn't say anything different. So I think that's legally binding. we're best friends. You heard it. You can check out Mulberry Creek on all the socials. It's Mulberry Creek Music on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Slip Slap, Plop Plop, all the stuff the kids are on. And, of course, iTunes and Spotify and Apple Music or whatever it's called now. And all that stuff. So our music is everywhere. And some of it's really good. Some of it's crap. I don't know. Whatever you're into, man. Some of it's really good, though. So, good. Listen, I get really giddy. I was just talking to Alan Doyle. So, I mean, you're going to have to cut me some slack here because that's pretty amazing. And I'm not sure how I get to be so lucky to keep company with these people. But I'm eternally grateful. And thank you for listening and checking us out and supporting what we're doing. It's awesome. You know, you're never too old to try this stuff. And so thanks for listening and check us out. Stay safe and, don't give up on stuff. You never know.